Good everyone, my name is Graphics. Today we want to study another example on isometric. We know that isometric is a three-dimensional view. When I mean three-dimensional view, I mean a view whereby you can see three sides simultaneously at the same time. Now this is the structure or the figure we are going to be drawing. Right? Now in isometric, our structure or our figure is always inclined at an angle of what? 30 degrees. So when you hear the word isometric, the first thing you should draw should be what? Your inclined axis at 30 degrees, and this is how you are going to do it. You're going to take your T-square and your Z-square, right? You place it on it this way, and you draw your vertical line this way, which will represent our height, right? And you will incline it this way, right? You can move it down at this point. You draw, this will be at 30 degrees, and you turn it the other way around this way. And this will be the other 30 degrees. So it is inclined at 30 degrees. So let me just assume that this is our horizontal line here this way. So the distance from here to here is 30. The angle from here to here is what? 30. Right? Now, if you look at this very well, my height from here to here is 40, and from here to here is what? 65. So all together is what? 105. So you measure your height, which is 105. This point here is your reference point. So I'll take my meter rule and I'll place it on this point here, and I'll measure 105. So from this point, 105 upward. So this is 105. Oh, good. So you measure the 105. Now measuring it, this is my 105, right? So at the same point again, you are going to draw your inclined axis at 30 degrees. So from here, I'm going to draw it at 30 degrees. Like this. This is 30. Can see that? Now we'll turn it this way around too, and draw this two to be 30 degrees. So that is my 30 degrees there. Now if you place it this way, the angle between here and here is 30, and here and here is 30. I'm using my faint line. Now the next thing you do is the width. Let me zoom it for you so you see what I am actually talking about. Right? So the next thing we'll do is the width. Now if you look at our diagram here, this way, from this point you are looking at here is this point here. You can see? So from here to this point here is what? 150, and that's our length. So I'll measure 150 from here to here. So if I take my meter rule, I'll take my compass, I'll measure 150 from here, from this point here, and place it like this. From this point here, from 1 to here is 150. You can see that? So you measure 150 on your meter rule and you place it here. You place it at this point here, right? After you place it there, you will now cut here 150. Can you see? So our point here is 150. Now the same thing, if you look at this from here, from this point to here we say it's 150, from this point to here is 100, which is from this point somewhere around there is 100. So I'm going to measure 100 on my meter rule, just like I did the earlier one. From here to this point, this is 100 here. You can see that? And I'm going to place it here, at this point here, and I will mark my 100 right at this point. So that will be my 100. So what I will just do here is I'm going to take my set square and I'll place it on my T-square. Let me take it down a little bit, and I'll take it on my T-square and I'll move it to that point, and I'll project it upward to touch this one up at this point. I'll go to the other point too. I'll project it upward to touch this at this point. You can see that? Now I have to close it at this point here. At this point I'll be having something. No, at every point here I draw my inclined line. So at this point I can have something like this. I'm just showing you, you don't have to do this on your own video, just show you what's happening on your own work. See what I'm having here, my horizontal line, So I'll place my set square on that point and I'll draw my inclined line this way. You can see that? If I place it this way also, I'm going to have another one, but I don't need this. This is going out. I'll come here too. I'll do the same thing. If I place it here, I'll close it up. Now what do you notice? I don't really need the other aspect here. This other 30 degree, I don't need it. Now it has formed a box. Both of them meet at this point here. So what I've done now, I've drawn a box in which I'm going to carve out this shape. So I want to carve out this shape from this box. I ensure that I got the total length, which is 150, the total width, which is 100, and the total height is what, 105. So let's start and see how it goes. So whatever I draw will not come out from this diagram here. So let's see. If you look at this, from here to here is 20. Why? Because from here to here is 20. So from here to here is 20, from here to here is also 20. So everything like this is 20. So I will measure this point is this point here. So I'm going to measure 20. So if I take my meter rule, I place my 0 here at this point. This is this point 0 here, and I'm going to cut 20. Right? So I measure 20. That is, I mean this. This is 20 here. Right? You can see that. From 0 to 2 is 20. Then I'll place it here at this point here, and I'm going to mark my 20 on this line. There's my 20 here. I also come to this ending point too. I'll mark 20 on this line also. Is that taken? So what I'll do is I'll take my set square, I'll place it on my T-square, and I'll project it upward a little bit. I'll come here also. I'm going to project this upward too. You can see that? Now the next thing is, if you look at this very well, from this point here up here is what? If you look at it, from this point here up here, which is this line, is 20. So I'm going to measure another 20 to get this distance here. So I measure 20 with the help of my meter rule. I'll measure 20 on my meter rule, and I'll place it at this point, and I'll mark 20. So that's my 20 there. So I'll join both of them, because if you look at it, we join from this point to this point. So you're going to join with the help of your set square. It is easier when you use your set square and t square to draw. Now I'll place it here, and I'm going to join from this point here straight down to this point. Here's my thick line. Right? I'll also cover from this point here to this point. Also from this point here to this point. So that is it, and I'll close here up to from here to here, and from here to here. Why am I doing that? Because in my main diagram, that is what is happening. From here to here is thickened, here is thickened, here's how I did what I'm doing here. Now if you notice it, this point is going in. I'll place my t-square this way, and I'll make it go in from here. So to go in. I see that from my t-square. Now if you look at this also, from this point here, which is this point here, from here also to this last point here is thickened. I'll take my t-square on my set square, my t-square, I'll move it. I'll get to that point here, and I'm going to do that. I've taken it. You can see that. Now if you look at this, from this ending point to this top here is 40. So I'm going to measure 40 on my meter rule. So from here to here is 40, right? And I'll place it here and mark my 40 and mark it at this point here, right? Which is this point here, seen here. So I'm going to thicken it with my set square, my t-square. So I'll take it up from that point, right? Now I've done that. Now if you look at this, from that point here, which is this point here, I'm going to draw my line that will touch this point here, which is somewhere around here. So what will I do? Take my t-square, my set square, put it on my t-square this way. You can see that, and I'll move it to this point, and I'm going to join from here to this point. Don't forget, everything is based on my 30-degree set square. So after doing that, from here to this point is thickened. So I'm going to thicken from this point here. Also placing on my t-square. Use on my t-square this way. Let me take it up so you see. So just do that here, right? So if you look at this also, from this point, which is this point here, it is the line is drawn to the last point here, which is on this line, right? So I'll still lie it down this way. I'll take it to that point. I'm going to draw my line from here straight down, from here straight down to this point, right? So if I've done that, if you look at this, here too is closed. I'm going to close here up. So let me close it up. I've closed it up. Now the next thing is this. If you look at this, right, from here to this center here is 64, right? And I'll measure half of this, which is 50, and I'll measure 64 here. So first of all, let me measure my 64. So from here, which is here, because if you look at this point here, it's the same thing at this point here. So to this point here is what? From here to here also, which is 64. So I'll measure 64. So you take your meter rule, and you measure 64 from here. This is 64 here, right? And you place it here. You place it at this point here, here, and you mark here. That is my 64. Now I've successfully gotten the center of that guy, and what I will do is I will just take my meter rule, my set square, my t square, they're working simultaneously. I'll move it to this point here, to this line here, and I'll just draw my horizontal line this way. Can you see that? So that's the half, that is 64. Then the next one here is what? Half of this. From here to here, we know it is 100. Look at it. From here to here is 100. So from here to here is 100 because they are parallel. I'm taking half of it, which is what? 50. To just get the center of that line. So 50. I'll measure 50 on my meter rule. I'll measure 50 on my meter rule. So this is 50. And I'll place it at this point here. And I'm going to mark. Right, so with the help of my set square, I can't draw it this way, so I will turn it to this point here. So I'll place it on the line, and I'll draw this. Now this is where both of them met, at this point here. So if you look at this, how will I start? If you look at this top here, from here to here is what? 75. And you see a square in front of it, it means that here to here 75, here to here 75, here to here 75, here to here 75. So every 75. So if from here to here 75, that means from here to here to 75. So I need to get that 75. So I'll take half of 75, which is 37.5. And I'll place it at the center and I'll mark it round. So I'll measure 37.5. 7.5, right? So now place it there, and I'll place it at the center here, which is 7.5, and I'll cut left, I'll cut right, I'll cut up and down this point, and I'll cut also this point. So I will now take my set square to join them together. So do what I'm doing here with the help of this guy. I will draw my line, faint line, right? And I'm going to turn it this way too. I'll draw my faint line. I'll come here also. I'll draw my faint line. Any line you are drawing, you must ensure you're using this guy to draw it, and it must be on your T-square. So I will turn it this way, and they are all parallel to each other. And I'll draw this. Now what do you notice? I have successfully drawn out a box. You can see that box. Now the next thing I'll do is I will take any of these joints here, right? And I'll project it up. So if I place this way on my T-square, I'll project it up. So what will I measure there? Now if I projected it up, so I'm going to measure the distance from here to here to do the trick. So the distance from here to here, I'll place it here, and I'm going to cut. Right? So after doing that, from this point here, I'll be projecting all of them at all this point. I'll project them up. So from here to, I'll project it up. From here to, I'll project it up. From here to, I'll project it up. So what will I do? I will now join with my set square. I will join from here, because if you look at this now, from this point to this point is thickened, and from here also to this point is also thickened. If you look at it very well, so I'm going to thicken from here to here. Can you see that? And also thickened from this point to this point. You can see that? And I also thickened these 2 points, because if you look at here, from here to here is thickened, and from here to here is thickened. So I'll place it here this way. I'll thicken here. And I'll come here also. I'll thicken here. Also, if you look at this diagram very well, from here also to here is also thickened. And I'll do the same thing here too. From here to here. You can see that. And also, if you look at this also, from here to here is also thickened. So I'm just copying and what? Pasting with accurate measurement. So if I place it from here to here, I'll close it up. And also, if you watch here too, from here to here is also thickened, and to here too. So I'll close it up too. And I'll close it up too. Right? And if you look it from here, there's a line that is going in here. So it's at this point here, is this point here. So I'll use my set square, this on my T square, and I'll take this in. Can you see that? And I will turn it this way too. From here to here too, at this point here, which is this point here, is going in, just like here what is going in. So I'll take my set square, I'll move it to that point, and I'm going to take it in, right? So I'll close it up too. Yeah, that's what taken. So just like here too, that's taken. Now I've done this. Now the next thing remaining is this that is inside. How will I do that? Now if you watch this very well, from here to here, which is from here to here, is what, 50, and there's a square in front of it. Means that here is 50, here is 50, here is 50, and here is 50. 50 all round, right? So how do I get half of 50, which is what, 25, right? So I'm going to place it at the center. So how will I get the center? This is how to get the center. Now you see the center that I got initially. I can project it up with my set square, right? I'll place it at this point. I'll project it up here. Can you see that? And I'll move it to this point too. I'll project it up here, mark there. So I'll just place my T square on my set square, my T square. I'll just draw my horizontal line, as in my faint line, just faint line like this, and I'll turn it this way again. I'll draw my faint line like this. So this is where they meet, so that will be my center, right? So I'm going to measure half of 50, which is 25. So I measure my 25, right? So I'll be having this. I'll place at the center here, and I'll mark 25 here, 25 here, 25 here, and 25 here. So I'll be having this. So with the help of my set square placed on my T square, I'm going to move it to this point, just like I did in the previous one. I'm going to have this. And I'll call this. Have this. I'll call this, right? And I'll turn it this way to get the other part. I'll have this. I'll come here. And I'll also have this. So I've drawn this. Now it's looking like something like this. like this 4 corner I'm having here. So and the 4 corner you're seeing here is thickened. So I'm going to thicken this 4 corner here. So let's do that together. So with the help of this, I'll thicken from here to here. I'll come here, thicken from here to here. I'll turn it. I'll thicken from here to here. Come here also, I'll thicken from here to here. This is what I'm having. Now what I will do is, if you look at this very well, this is going in. So I'll just take my set square, place it on my T-square, and I'll go to that point. This point is this point here. Is this point here, and I'll draw a line down from here. I'm going to draw a line downward. So that is what I'm having. So this is now giving me this. Let me zoom it down. So this is giving me this. Right? You can see we're having this together. Now, aside that, you can do your dimensioning. The dimension is very important also. You do your dimensioning and you'll be able to get the figure. How will you do dimension? We know from here to here is 100. I'll take my T-square. I'll place my set square. I'll place it on my T-square. And I'm going to draw this a little bit. Do not touch my diagram. I'll take it down. Must not touch the main diagram. See that there's a space there. I'll come here also. I'll do the same thing. Take it down. Do not touch it. Right? So with the help of my T-square, my set square, I'll just from here draw this way. So this place is always sharpened. And here also is always sharpened. So we know from here to here is what? 100. And the 100 will not touch the line. They call it your dimension line. And I'll do for the rest too. I'll do that for the rest too, and I'll have what I want to have, which is this. So if you found this video helpful, don't forget to click on the subscribe button. Thanks for watching.